Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are, oh my god, it's zombies! Today we're going to be continuing the storyline of Scooby Apocalypse, an alternate universe in which the Scooby gang exists in a world where monsters and zombies and ghosts and ghouls are actually real, created by nanites that have been put into their bodies to turn human beings into monsters. And recently we lost Fred. He was killed. Well, today we're going to be dealing with Daphne dealing with the death of Fred and a little surprise from Scrappy-Doo. If you're wondering where you are, well, first off, you found Scooby Apocalypse, so I kind of have a feeling you know where you are. But this is Comicstorian, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to read them dramatically back to you, giving you like an audio drama per se. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time.
In our last video, 6 months went by and the Henry Hudson Mall in New York became a safe haven for the few survivors left in the world. But as the community grows, so does Daphne's hatred for the monsters for taking Fred Jones from her, after she finally accepted her final marriage proposal from him. And what's more, while Daphne goes on a rampage outside of the mall gates, Scrappy-Doo has made his return and decided to settle within the community. As Daphne Blake loads up her rifle and watches over a group of feasting monsters, she thinks back to her childhood and how her father, George, raised her. He told her that the world was cruel and unforgiving, and the only way to survive was to keep her guard up and heart hard. As those thoughts begin to cross her mind, she spins out from cover behind the building and opens fire on the group, and as the first wave falls, Daphne uses the butt of her rifle to bash her way into the next. One of the monsters catches her and throws her to the ground, but before it can bite into her, she shoots into the monster's stomach and kicks him off. The next crawls up, but Daphne pulls out her knife and stabs it in the head before moving on to the next. She continues killing everything in sight until the monsters stop moving, and then has a seat to tend to her wounds. When she was younger, her dad would tell her that she needed to look for hope and love in the world. He would smile and tell her, "Give it time, you'll learn." Well, by the looks of things, he was right. She did learn, the hard way. He would be proud of her, but she isn't letting those bastards win. She isn't giving into the hopelessness and despair. That's for the weaklings. She's fighting back with all of the rage in her heart. She isn't going to stop fighting until she wipes out every last one of those despicable creatures. Or at least that's what she would like to think. Truth is, she's probably just going to die during one of her hunts, just like Fred, left to rot. Except they didn't leave him, did they? They stole his body. As Daphne moves on to the next area, she notices something from behind her, stalking her in the shadows. She turns back, getting ready to shoot, but Scrappy-Doo jumps out, yelling, "Hold it, Red, it's me!" Daphne lowers her gun, asking, has he been following her the whole time? And Scrappy jumps down, telling her, "Maybe. Things are a bit boring back at the mall. Once I filled my belly, there really wasn't much else to do. When I heard everyone talking about your little expeditions, I figured I'd just tag along and offer up my services." Daphne asks, "What? Are we supposed to be friends now? This isn't gonna work." And Scrappy asks, "Who said anything about being friends? We just happen to share a healthy hatred for the beasties out there, and hate's better than any friendship any day of the week." Daphne sighs, stating that she works alone, but if he's really determined, take care of them. She points her gun behind Scrappy at a group of monsters, and Scrappy cracks his knuckles and gets to work. She watches as blood splatters begin to hit her face, and she wipes it away, with Scrappy asking, "How's that? Did I pass?" And Daphne walks away, stating, "For now." But if she even suspects that he's going to make a move against her or any of the others, she'll shoot him where he stands. A few moments after moving out, Daphne cracks Scrappy in the face with her gun, telling her that subject is off limits. He falls back, asking, "What the hell was that for? I was just asking how you're dealing with." She raises her gun, yelling, "Off limits." And he wipes the blood from his mouth, telling her, "Fine, the dead boyfriend's off limits. You're out of your freaking mind, you know." She shouts that he's damn right that she is, and he'll do better to remember that. If he mentions Fred again, she'll... And he tells her, yeah, you'll shoot me where I stand. You do realize that I'm a living, breathing killing machine, right? You think that I couldn't do that if I wanted? Daphne scoffs, stating that she would like to see him try. And as she turns to leave, Scrappy yells, "Now I gets it! You got a death wish!" That's why she's been out there, hoping one of these beasties would shred her to pieces. She asks if the mutated psychopathic puppy is actually trying to analyze her. You know what? We should probably part ways here. And he shouts, "Oh, come on, Red! I got nothing in common with those yokels back there, and neither do you. So how about we go eviscerate some monsters? It'll be fun." She snaps back, asking, "You think that's fun?" Well, her too. He laughs, telling her, "You are one sick puppy. Guess that's why I like you." As the two sit out, watching from afar, it's a zombie. But it's not just any zombie. It's Fred. Now the question is, what happened to Fred 6 months ago back at the mall? Well, shortly after dying, Fred just woke up. And he left. Ever since that, Fred's been shambling behind Daphne, and as he follows, he looks at one of the monsters that Daphne shot, and he begins to eat it. He walks onto the street, and a monster comes out to attack, but as Fred looks at it, the monster turns, and it runs. He watches the monster skitter away, and as he looks at himself, he bites off one of his own fingers, and he chews it. After munching on that for a moment, he spits it out and continues to walk. And a short while later, he walks up to one of the Haven's recon teams. The scouts look at each other and ask, "Is that Fred Jones? Or is that the monster that can take the shape of someone?" The female scout says that maybe they should tell the others first, and the male tells her that they can shoot him so that they can just get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, across the city, Daphne and Scrappy are tearing through another swarm of monsters. And at the end, Scrappy says, "You know what your friends are doing back there is just a pipe dream, right? They're trying to build some community, even make things right again. But we both know it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. The biggest win we can hope for is to live to see another day. Or we're just gonna end up like my pack and your boyfriend. We're losers, and we're..." She points his gun, telling him, "I told you not to talk about Fred." Scrappy blows her off, telling her, "If you're gonna shoot me, go ahead, but you won't. You need me." And she yells, she doesn't need anyone. So Scrappy imitates her. "Oh, look at me! I'm a big bad Daphne Blake, and I don't need anyone. Solid performance, but it lacks conviction. The truth is, we all need somebody. Only thing worse than being stuck in this hellhole is being stuck here alone." Daphne laughs, asking if he came back because he was lonely. And Scrappy shouts, "You're damn right I did! I spent months out there fighting off all those beasties alone while trapped inside of my own miserable head with no one to talk to. I came back looking for Cliffy, but he'll just end up dead if I hang around him. The others just see me as some kind of a monster, no matter how hard they pretend otherwise. You, on the other hand, when you look at me, you see yourself." She swings her rifle like a bat, knocking Scrappy down, and as he wipes his mouth again, he asks, "Truth, it hurts, don't it?" She tells him it hurts more than it hurts her. "See you around, mutt." And he asks, "So that's it? You're just gonna walk away?" She continues to walk and then stops, looking back. She tells him that when she was a little girl, she used to plead with her father to let her have a dog. However, he thought that they were all lazy, filthy little animals, and he refused to allow them in the house. He adored cats, though. They have 6 of them, and she hates cats. Scrappy gets up telling her, "So do I." And Daphne says, "Now come on, puppy. Let's go murder some more monsters." A short while later, Fred wanders through the mess that Daphne and Scrappy made and begins to eat some of the fallen monsters. The same monster that saw Fred walks up, and as Fred looks at him, he gets up to allow the monster to eat. The monster grabs the body and begins chowing down when Fred places his hand on the monster's head and walks off. The monster looks back at Fred and yells to follow. And Fred tells him, "That's it, little fella. Come along with Uncle Freddy. It's time to get the party started."
Whoa, Raggy, we're on a cliffhanger. Okay, so Fred is back as a zombie leading they're attacking. It's going very poorly for them. Yeah, no, this story's going crazy, but there is an actual ending to it. The book is ending in April, so by the time we get caught up to that, we'll have a definitive ending of the Scooby Apocalypse universe. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to bring you this about once a month. And don't forget, you can find us over at twitch.tv/eligiblemonster. And you can also find us over at Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian. And I'll see you next time right here.